And even when we looked back at that roster when Kios left it was like they looked like a shell of their former selves. So he actually provides a lot to that firepower and actually a lot of the flair that people really like to attach themselves to.
Well, speaking of flair and fire, we've got to be heading into Inferno, Michael. Hey.
Is that the Flames' home territory? No, it's not even their pick.
Ah, well, there you go. Sometimes fire's got to be afraid of other fire. You know, that's an actual thing, though. Fire can actually burn out other fire because it runs out of thing to burn.
Yeah, you run out of fuel, so what's up there left?
Indeed. Well, question is, who's going to have the fuel for the beginning? As we've got a 4-man setup on the A bomb side from Copenhagen Flames.
Yeah, I wonder whether Akimbo are going to try and go for some early control with the double set of nades that they have on both Haji and Kyojin. They can obviously threaten some brackets control, maybe end up on a B-side play, or just set up for a full-on execute. It's just all about feeling out the map at the start of this round, because we've seen a lot from CT Pistols. You know, sometimes they charge down middle, sometimes they like to get aggressive into the apartments, but not really anything on the table in that regard here for Copenhagen Flames. Just doubling up, keeping things nice and cool, nice and breezy on this 4-play over towards A, but the peak is late.
Oh, Roy misses out his opportunities as well, but he actually recovers immediately afterwards. A double tap, but it's retraded. Only a singular Haji. Bring that back in their favor. 4-on-3 now as the T's is still headed towards the A bomb site, and Yabi is not convinced of their commitment.
Finally some utilities sailing out here for Akimbo, but they actually want to move over towards the arches. There is a quick trade, but they can't flush out Nikodos. Don't have the utility for it, don't have really the time to linger about for this either. They want to get this bomb nice and planted. One additional tag, sure enough, will scare Nikodos off of chasing much further, but a 3-on-2 for the post plant.
Gonna have to watch out for what Python can get done over here. He's the one with all the HP in the world, and Haji's already got 2 in his pocket. Copenhagen Flames do not actually have a kit. I'm not sure if there's one dropped over at the other side. And Haji, well, he could be just delaying this out very nicely. That grenade, though, is going to bring him down. Beautiful from Uxie. And now it's all down to Python in a 1-on-3, low on Nikodos, and he's already gone. Python now cornered in. He's going to be brought down by Uxie, and there's enough time to be able to get out that defuse, and barely so.
Yeah, certainly a bit of a slim time on that margin on the timer, but the fact that they're able to get that dunk on the nade means that crossfire effectively breaks down. They're trying to balance the aggression from short and moto, respectively. And then suddenly it's Python, the newbie, thrust into a 1-on-3. That's hard to beat, especially with Copenhagen Flames. They are experienced about how they want to approach these retakes. Never really seemed to have many spacing issues. They were actually, I think, a hallmark for a lot of teams during the major run for how to run CT sides. They seem to have a really good and robust system in place. But yeah, the difficulties ever since then have been apparent. Even still, pistol win, Akimbo on the back foot and into Deagles. Not going for the full force buy, they got the extra money via the bomb plant. So looking for a 3rd round buy instead. We'll see. I mean, yesterday on the Challenger League, end of Group A, we saw a lot of scrappy buys winning, weirdly enough.
Hey, we call them different buys.
Yeah, they are different.
Haji's gone, and now with the Thomas also spraying down, it doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of damage actually coming through from the Akimbo side, and that's obviously going to be one of the major difference makers for Inferno as we see how it progresses. Like you said before, yesterday was all about those 4 spy kills, even if not always. And even on Vertigo, a lot of those 4 spy kills did end up resetting the economy pretty heavily of Amiga. So, obviously something you want to avoid.
Again, another problem area that hasn't really stemmed itself too deep into the Copenhagen Flames CT sides. We'll see if they keep it nice and clean.
That's great timing on the smoke.
Solid. Give them at bay for a little longer, but they've run out of utility to redeploy over on that B bomb site. And with Akimbo actually clustering up there, all they're doing is waiting for that smoke for the burst.
No flashes though, and Yabi is just getting ready to play around this pillar and make it look easy. They smoke off CT, so now the intention is clear, and Hoaxy just swipes out, brings down Kios. Kyojin and Python, really not much left for them to do, but a quick kill and 2. Python might even be able to get the bomb plant over here. A little bit extra money, even though that grenade's flailing through. It won't be enough. The second one is required, and the bomb isn't even planted.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to get that plant down in time. It seemed like that first nade was just a little too deep, but Copenhagen Flames not allowing that extra cash injection. Like that, we're seeing some additional presence from Python. Not somebody that you expect to really hit the server running to some degree. You know, first game with the new squad, first official at the very least. and somebody that I don't think many people are going to be as clued up on.
Oh, yeah, he's just peeked out there. Going to be able to bring him down regardless, but not much utility left for the T side. No flashes to actually work with, and with the M4 recovered, they're looking to work the map instead. Grenade, though, that looked like it could have done more, but I think they did get behind the actual wall in time.
Made the jump on top of the half wall, in fact.
The opposite of an earthquake. Get on high ground. See, peeks out. That MP9 is going to roll them down, and he's getting more aggressive. He wants all the money. Nikodaz is going to take at least some of his cash away, but with 3 kills, he is a happy camper. Payday.
Oh, I don't think Hooksy found that M4 that was lost earlier on, so no free upgrade for him. They had the couple of SMGs, but it shouldn't be any real issue. He's farmed up some extra cash via the fact that he gets them on the MP9, so even if he wanted to upgrade, yeah, he even buys an ult for Nikodaz and keeps himself on the MP9. Guy is humble, selfless, and Nikodaz is thanking him all the way to the bank. Let's see if he can cash in on some of these early kills with that AWP, considering he's not going to be contested at distance. Akimbo, just with all AKs, a whole lot of utility. It's all about options being created here for Akimbo as they try and actually get some of this map control.
Oh, that nade timing. Michael Python just feels in his bones. Beautifully read.
Yeah, already being rocked a little.
Very defensive from Akimbo so far. They have got practically no map control inside of just the bottom of Banana, and that's one where with this much utility that's been tossed over towards this B bomb site, they're more than happy with giving it up. Retakes utility coming out very early if Hooksy actually chooses to throw this over here, and that's very interesting to see as well. With 5 players alive, chucking out utility this early on is definitely an interesting decision, especially when they've been smoked off, and now looks like Akimbo might even be pulling the trigger a little bit early. They'll have to go through a smoke to do it, though.
Yeah, jig is up. The fact that they dissipated that Molotov immediately with the smoke themselves, they understand that Copenhagen Flames might have an inkling that it's going to be a B-sided plate, so they're pushing past it, trying to make use of the smoke, but Hooksy's right between all 3 of these smokes that are down, and he gets 2 from it as a result. Haji, sure enough, he gets that trade, but Copenhagen Flames rotates there, and Yabi just swings for another.
This is beautiful. There's no way they can flush him out either. And although the Molotov's gone forward, Yabi's still got space to maneuver around it. He's just relocated, and he's got teammates coming in right from behind, but they're both falling as well. Haji and Maka might have just given them a chance in this one. Of course, there's still a flank of Roy to consider, but now he's going to be peering down double barrels, although one might be looking away. Roy could get a freebie, and there you have it. Maka found out, and it's all down to Haji. Needs to double up. He's already had the first one. It's a beauty. The second one, not quite there. Zyphon. They'll be able to shut him down. 4th found for Copenhagen Flames. Even if it's an expensive one, it's still fantastic stuff, especially from Hooksy.
Yeah, really close there as well. The fact that they're able to get that early advantage with Yabi still finding kills towards the back of the bomb site. You know, they're in this 4-on-2 that could have been a lot more easily played out towards the tail end of things for Copenhagen Flames, but then the CT smoke dissipates. I don't think they had the time sort of notched in their head, while Akimbo are still kind of holding deep spawn to make use of the fact that that smoke was dissipating. Copenhagen Flames getting caught on a bit of a mistiming there, but still able to weasel a way out with the round. Another buy rather in from Akimbo, as they did find a decent level of success and have actually pushed the money down pretty heavily here on the Copenhagen Flames side. So eating too many nades at the start though. Kiel's already brought down to 6, and with them fighting towards top B, it's just going from bad to worse.
This is just Akimbo falling apart. Banana control's just not been going their way. They haven't been able to read the Copenhagen Flames defense at all, be it the timing on the retake utility, be it just the grenades coming in. They have been losing out exchanges at every single point. And these mid rounds, you know, we've seen some inspired play coming out from Python and Haji in particular, but nothing that goes ahead and says, okay, we've actually got enough to take this one away. Nikodaz spotted out that elbow early, and all that's left is a pull to trigger.
Yeah, I think we've seen some nice little flashes in the pan, but nothing that really gives us a lot of confidence on the tactical end of things, because they've been spurring these kills out in sort of late round situations after the execute's already happened or after utility's already been thrown. So it's really just been in these moments where they're having to fight back almost, where we're seeing a little bit of bite to the Akimbo bark.
Yeah.
Well, as the name would imply, 2 players. Akimbo meaning double.
I did not know that.
Then move into save. Yeah, you can have Akimbo pistols.
Is that French?
I don't know that it's French in origin. I need
I'm gonna
to
Google this.
I need to have a long conversation with somebody that works in the spelling bee or something, because they know like word of origin, use it in a sentence. Never really one for me.
Okay, so an akimbo weapon is just... Oh, that's in Call of Duty, which is just dual wielding. I don't know.
Oh
man.
yeah, maybe I'm just pulling from video games.
Yeah,
but
that
you
might
know,
be a
that is
thing,
my
Michael.
education.
Ah, yes. Michael's Cambridge was actually just caught.
Yeah, well,
Regardless,
you know,
though.
a mix of everything.
Hey, it's got a lot of cultures in it, at the very least. However, so far the culture of Akimbo has been one of losing, which is normally not one you want to be maintaining for too long. And now with this half buy around the double save weapons coming in, it's going to be a very awkward buy in the next one as well. So you have to make this one work. Very fast play out towards the top of Banana, but you've already lost one out behind. Nico does. He's going to destroy Maka.
Yeah, kind of a shaky flick there. I wasn't even sure he actually hit him or not, but I mean, you can see the results, so definitely a nice little conversion there on the AWP. Immediately falling back, actually leaning a third player over towards the B bomb site, while Akimbo are actually, I think, hoping to chase down this AWP in some capacity. Problem is, it's the one that rotated.
Roy's just found all the information he needs as well, and with a full belt of utility, how are they possibly going to be going through flashbangs there? Roy's been covered, although now he's lost that belt of utility. Question is, what is Nikodol's going to do? He's got an AWP, no flashes to actually help him out. Zyphon's got one if you want to chuck it out, but now Haji's just moved through. A missed shot means it's death for Nikodol's, and Haji, well, he's standing inside that smoke. Hooksy's just going to walk him right out of it pretty soon as well. All comes down to Zyphon now. Can he find anything? Good for one, and the trades are good for the second.
Yeah, nice and easy, even with Nikodol's legging Haji in that exchange over towards the arches. Just the fact that they're in these positions where they can not only fight for the territory that Akimbo's moving in for, but they're actually trying to get proactive themselves, you know, moving in for flash plays. Sure, you're in a man advantage. You might argue against going for all these information plays to just fight for the sites, but they want to see if they can equalize so that if it turns into a 3-on-3 on the bomb site, you have all the odds with all the different positions you can be in with all these crossfires. Copenhagen Flames doing a great job so far on the CT side. Akimbo yet to show us really much of that sort of tactical forte. They haven't really pushed Copenhagen Flames to sweat just yet.
I would be very interested to see what's grenade accuracy looking like for Akimbo right now. But for now, Nikodol's accuracy looking pretty on point at the very least. Zyphon is still good for one before he's traded out, and Haji is happy with the space, but Roy's still going to be able to take one down, waiting for them to come through. The smokes are preventing them from doubling up, and Roy's got the single duel needed. Yabi to finish off and avenge his old man Roy, but that's 7 now for Copenhagen Flames.
Yeah, felt a little disjointed. The strategy is certainly there. Like, they're able to isolate the pit duel, but the fact that they meet so much resistance over towards the arches slowed them down on the potential wrap, and so you get Roy trapped in towards the back of the bomb site, but by the time they actually sandwich that player in, you have to start worrying about rotates in from library and the arch respectively, because all that early utility was soon fading.
So, sorry, Michael, which one of these is utility damage? Is it NS? I'm guessing it's NS.
I think it is NS.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's NS. We've got that confirmation. So not very much going on from Akimbo's side, even though they've been prioritizing picking up these HE grenades pretty often. Shout out to Kai, our producer. He's German, so obviously this isn't German. Thanks,
It's like, wait a second, these aren't the acronyms I'm used to.
It's like, nice shot, bro.
Good to know that enemies flashed is GG though.
It's like, GG on flashed again.
Yeah,
I was going to do a German accent, but I'm not going to be offensive.
yeah. Let's avoid that one.
Well. Oh, wow. Python. He's traded out very quickly.
First kill for Kyojin, and it's a nice little flashy trade on the Deeg. So weapon could have moved to be recovered, but they're not sure how many Copenhagen Flames players are there. They've also liked to retake top banana pretty frequently, so seeming too much of a threat.
I am getting a little bit embarrassed that the players who I hyped up this much are doing as poorly as the Michael. Kyo's right now 0-7, Maka 1-6. Definitely not what you need from the young
Yeah, they've been
guns.
really struggling to get solid entries and just take control of bomb sites.
At the same time, Kyojin, you know, he's got a lot to prove, and so far he's not doing much of it. Just got his first kill in this round after being 0-7 as well.
This little burst being lined up here. Zyphon seems pretty privy to it, though.
Yeah, and that flash is not going to catch him out at all. He's got 2, lines them up, and it's a 3-man spray with Roy to put the cherry on top. That is beautiful from Zyphon, just completely dodging out that flash, and he just pummels him down.
Yeah, not only the fact that he can hear it coming, but also the fact that it just is in a spot that is going to be covered by that flash. He's actually very exposed to a potential wrapping play or players coming off of short because nobody was holding his middle. But just a good read on what Akimbo had planned for that round. May have even heard the nade being pulled as they were setting up for that on the side of Akimbo. Small little details could sometimes give it the entire game away. Again, it's just all this utility damage. Akimbo have been getting bombarded towards Banana, bottom middle as well. Seeing a lot of good utility damage. That stat will only improve here for Copenhagen Flames. Akimbo really struggling to get anything in response.
Michael, I figured out why it's called Banana. Because it's got potassium in it. And there's a lot of utility damage on Banana. And potassium is explosive. So Banana is... Oh, man, it makes all the sense. But that flashbang is not going to find anything over there. Kios, however, might be able to do something on those lines. Yabi taking down Nikoro, trying to back off. Doesn't want to reveal his AWP over there. Otherwise, could just be rushed down.
Man, you were talking about potassium. I just wish you put that analogy away.
Explosive bananas.
One of the first clean entries that we've had here from Akimbo. And so now they can actually make use of a 5-on-4. It's 2-on-2 split between both bomb sites here for Copenhagen Flames because they're still not entirely certain where Akimbo are going. It's looking like it could be a first round convert, but Zyphon finding another kill. Kyojin at least finding a kill in response, but they know exactly where Zyphon was last seen, and so this A site falls so easily. All it took was for an early fight over towards Banana to be successful and Akimbo crack in.
And you can see just how they've managed to, at the very least, also take advantage of the fact that Copenhagen Flames was not heavily rotating early on either. You know, they recognize that, they isolate out a couple of duels, that some players make some individual moves early on, and, you know, that's good to go.
I think it's kind of just indicative of how momentum works to some degree, especially on CT sides, where if you can feel confident in holding your bomb sites, you're just kind of hoping your opponent is a little bit unsure about which of the sites to hit, especially if they lose an initial player after deciding on one of the sites.
And it also helps that you don't fall prey to the potassium.
See, I had a feeling you were just going to try and do something like that. I couldn't.
I'm happy, Michael. This is the only benefit chemistry has ever had to me in my life. Honestly, like, it's like, I can't get organic chemistry, man. I still remember that was the only subject I got like an E in.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I never took chemistry, so I took biology instead.
That's alright, Michael. We've got all the chemistry you need.
Wow.
Right back to the game, though, where Copenhagen Flames so far have been doing pretty well outside of that one solitary round. Now, though, Nikoro is being slightly disabled without the assault of grenades, although hold the point because there's been a few more coming in. Kios, however, cheats past them, and they've got combined frags all over the place. 3 to be going in, and Yabi now needs to try and put up a solo defense if they do end up hitting this B-bomb site.
Yeah, all the meanwhile that was happening over towards B, they actually get the kill on the AWP as well through middle with a nade to follow things up. It may not have been on Nikodos, but the spam is successful. Jabi actually finding them on the cross because there is not a CT smoke there in time. Down to 2-on-2, and they've got a Molotov and an HE to try and deter the plant. Maybe even flush out one of these positions. A Molotov to follow up in towards Dark could be very disruptive.
A Dark or Newbox, either one of those could be terrifying. They go for Newbox, spot out marker. They've taken him down courtesy of that boost, and the smoke being slightly awry, if I'm not wrong. Python now all alone. He's so good in these late rounds, but with his HP being as low as it is, he has to make this position work perfectly. Just waiting out the time. Knows that Zyphon needs to be the one to make the move, and what a shot from Python. Beautiful stuff. And that B-bomb site has been where he's found the majority of his frags, but finally a late round going his way.
An Akimbo debut. And he's the one that I think we've been really the most impressed with so far in these rounds. Even in rounds that it doesn't seem like they're going to really win. The aim has been sharp. The decision-making so crisp as well in that 1v1. Man, Python coming to play on the opening day. Who'd have thought? All these players that have a deep run of experience, deep wells of experience in not only the Tier 1 circuit, but, you know, loads of different organizations within the region. And it's the guy that I think a lot of people would have been scratching their heads going, Python? I don't know much
Yeah.
about this guy.
I mean, we go from talking about, hey, there's Haji, former NDS player and whatnot. He's doing an okay job. But then there's Kyojin, just came out of the world #2 team. Kios, the Belgium man who just went out, played for a Kazakhstani team, dominated over there. And Maka, the one heretic left behind in Counter-Strike. And after all that, you get a unicorn of love, man, coming in and showing us what it's all about. That's, represent, man.
I might be falling for him.
Well, I can see why. Oh, Shabby. Be careful that he doesn't just fall down to that quick swipe from Haji. The wide peak not able to catch him out, though.
A lot more assertive here from Copenhagen Flames. Actually going for a deeper B control. You could see Akimbo, I think, a little bit deterred by that. Don't want to fight into that too early, but it's allowed Copenhagen Flames to stack in towards the A bomb site instead. 4 men over there instead. And considering that they're on a couple of these MP9s, if they can deter them from one side of the map and force Akimbo into an awkward decision, might be even free upgrades on the path. Good protocols in place here for Akimbo to retake that banana position. You can see it's forced Tuxi back. Holding at that half wall, jump spotting is far too risky, especially with that AWP being in the server.
The only question
is he going to call for backup?
The only question I have is whether Hooksie's got extra utility actually lying down over there, and it doesn't look like he does. Otherwise, we would have seen him probably go over to CT instead. Yeah. And with 30 seconds, a rotation call's been made, but they're going to be running right back. Flashes, smokes, all being used to take brackets control, and they're still edging this. They're still going so slowly, and they're already got out. Zyphon's traded out. Python's the man to do it, of course, but with 2 players on the bottom side and Nikodos guarding the cross, not going to be easy. He gets a second as well. Now they're getting the entries, but is it too late? 10 seconds on the clock, still a man to deal with. Bomb in their hands, and Kyojin is going to be shanked in the back.
He thought about it for a time. Do I get it with the plant? Do I just wait for it on the MP9? Instead, he just pulls out the knife as well. And that's exactly what they couldn't have afforded to have happen. That's part of why they wanted to pressure over towards that banana position. They were hoping that it would be enough to deter this extra player over towards this A bomb site, because Nikodos, if he wasn't there, if he was still over on that B site, it could have very easily fallen into an Akimbo post plant. Instead, they read into it correctly, get there in time, and Akimbo just get herded into that A side stack.
That's painful. That is very painful.
I love it.
Yeah. Especially
young guys like Jabi, especially if they can really feel the rhythm of the game and just know what they can get away with.
Oh. Man, Python's pretty snappy, and right now, Kios, he's snapping some heads off as well. Okay. Suddenly, what should have been a gimme has now become a gimme that round.
I was kind of talking over it like there shouldn't be any real action until later on, because Akimbo have actually been going pretty slow even on some of these low buys, but nice and fast with it, and the Copenhagen Flames caught asleep at the wheel.
And I'm looking forward to the CT side now, Michael, because we've got some fresh information from an inside man that Python was actually a pretty insane opper in the 11-Devon Unicorns. Wow. Yeah, that's what we're calling them.
He's just not opening here, though, is he? So.
Well, I mean, we're going to wait for the CT side to see whether he does.
Yeah, I suppose.
I think it's probably going to be Maka anyway, but can at least wait to find out.
It won't be the first time people have been picked up to be as AWPers, but not to AWP. Shout out Chawsey.
Shout out Lucky.
Yeah. Well, he's back to doing it now, to be fair, so.
We'll have this conversation later.
Yeah, how long that lasts, that's a whole different conversation.
Indeed. But I am really impressed by Python so far. He's just been, he really does seem to be the lifeblood of whether or not they're getting these trades in a lot of these situations. And the fact that he is getting so involved in mid-rounds as well. One other thing that Michael I actually wanted to comment on, though I think I might wait for a weaker buy to do so. Because right now, this is a very crucial round for the Flames, actually.
Yeah, turning point for the Flames for sure, because this is the last sort of sustainable buy they can go for before they have to go for a save, and that just opens up the door for Akimbo. Great tag there from Nikodos, actually chancing it on a late peek down middle. No hope for Akimbo to be holding it, so I guess pretty safe endeavor. I think the big thing about Copenhagen Flames on CT sides is that they sometimes don't take risks to secure round wins. They can feel a little turtled up in bomb sites, and so this actually gives a lot of free territory for Akimbo.
And you can see that right here. Nikodos is brought down and there's no one ready to rotate. All comes down to both Zyphon and Roy. And Zyphon speak out wide. He knows he has to make a move now, but that move is not going anywhere. Kios and Maka shut down all that's needed, and Python will provide the seal on this round. Akimbo take control, and they do so very nicely. I'm loving the adjustments coming out from Akimbo, Michael, where they are just taking so much more time, recognizing that Copenhagen Flames is not going for deep info into Banana very often, and that's all they need to prevent, because then Copenhagen Flames can't rotate. And like you said, haven't been a very gambling team so far.
Yeah, and one of the few rounds we did see them gamble was purely off of the fact that they had MP9s as a part of their primary sort of weaponry in the round. So yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that Copenhagen Flames have been so reactionary when I think a lot of people would have painted them as favorites moving into this series. You can sort of assert some of that flair that, you know, being a part of the major cycle would kind of instill in you. I think that's what's been disruptive about the whole Copenhagen Flames story, is that we saw the slow descent. And so they're actually trying to find that form once again, because maybe it was just a miracle run. I think a lot of people are kind of attributing it as such. But they almost hold all the cards, especially with the great start they got off to on this CT side. They can almost afford to be a little bit more risky with some of the duels or some of the affairs they go for. Like, they haven't gone for heavy apartments pressure either. They haven't really shown a forward facing towards the brackets outside of, like, the pistol round. So Kimbo, yeah, this free territory could pay off dividends into the later stages of this half. The fact that they're trying to claw themselves up to at least a recognizably distinctive 6.
Oh, Hooks, he's just gone. He's trying to get that information they've been lacking. Of course, he's the only one with a weapon over here. So, yeah, this round basically is over and done with. And the path to 6 begins with Michael. One of the things I wanted to actually touch on, and I'm going to gloss over this one a little bit, is that we are all getting ready for Kyojin to come and light up Tier 2. We can't forget the sheer amount of help you get by being in a Tier 1 team. The kind of structure it's going to have, the kind of calling it's going to have, the amount of thinking you're going to have to do on your own is so much less, especially in the roles that Kyojin was playing, that we are not necessarily going to see this man come and light up everyone. Now, obviously, that's what you expect, but right now, Yabby's actually the one getting quite a few kills. He's traded, but damage has been dealt, and Maka will be the one just to guarantee that round, although it wasn't pretty apt.
I mean, oh my god, with a USP?
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah. Sorry, finish your point.
Yeah, but generally, I think I would not be overwhelmingly surprised if Kyojin actually doesn't perform well in a Tier 2 level.
Yeah, I think there's certain elements to that. I think he always had the raw, sort of robot-like aim in certain moments. Like, you saw some flashes of it in the past, but it's just about whether you can get that sort of consistency in the Tier 1 space, and now, yeah, you are moving into more chaotic waters. No, I was talking about there was no apartments pressure in previous rounds. Now they go for it at the very start. Nikodos as well there to support and actually finding Maka, going for the crack line peak. Nikodos was ready.
That is beautiful. Now he's even got a fantastic position to stop them from actually rotating in from arches. They do have a few flashes, but using them over here is going to be very risky. Nikodos, however, gives up the shadow, and Kios will punish as a result of it. Back to a 3-on-3. You've got utility, but all of it comes down to what Zyphon can get done, and he's not the one with much Yabby. He finds the gap as the smoke is fading. Haji brought down from the back, and Zyphon, he's been great from pit at finding at least one, and that's exactly what he's done. Python all alone. 1-on-3, naded down to 29 as well. A Molotov to try and flush one player out, but that's just not happening. Zyphon's still got a smoke that's going to prevent the spread, and as he's just waiting out the clock, because they do have sightlines on the bomb as well, Python, question is, what can he actually
so much
find?
Respect.
They are playing this perfectly on the flames, and Python trying to flick away. They're just making no mistakes whatsoever. A 10th found for Copenhagen Flames. And with that, they're going to be able to secure a pretty damn good half despite some shaky bits in the middle. We are, however, going to have to go to a bit of a break, and when we're back, we're going to see the second half. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Copenhagen Flames, due to economy, to suddenly let them slip up. We'll see if the plan is from Akimbo. They want to get down middle and aggressive right into Copenhagen's Flames faces, and they just cannot deal with the aggression here from the CT side. Python finding those 2 kills and actually moving in for extra as they now double up for these fights. Zyphon still trying his best to keep it going, but Kios is just unrelenting. They lost sight of the bomb, they lost sight of the prize. Copenhagen Flames weren't quite sure what Akimbo were up to.
That is stunning. I just love how they use Python over there. And obviously, this is not a pistol round that you're going to be able to run very often. You're really taking advantage of the fact that this is your first official. But Python just being sent as a torpedo down mid uses his aim perfectly. That's exactly what you want to see coming out. And this is where Tier 2 CS can really have certain players, like you said, robot-like aim be emphasized to the greatest possible extent. Beautiful. And Keo's just there with a follow-up as well. Love to see it, and right now Hooksy would love to see a dead Keos, and that's exactly what he's found. An MP9 that can't be recovered, though, not without a little bit of burn damage.
I'd say outside of a couple of slow rounds from Akimbo on the T side, this game has been very, very rapid in terms of how much aggression and action there is across the map. And right into the face of Keos, it's another stark reminder of such. It's all about just not bleeding out any more resources than you have to here on the side of Akimbo, because the Flames are going to play it nice and patient. Ooh. Nice little initiative here for Maka with the MP9 to get some information, and Haji's locking things down in middle, doesn't need no help.
Yeah, it all comes just down to Nikolas and Roy, and neither one of them looking like they're going to get much out of this. So a singular kill coming through, and Hanji's the one to just seal the deal. Akimbo up to 7, and that could be warning bells from Copenhagen Flames for sure.
Can they organize themselves on this T side much the same way that I think Akimbo were struggling to show that tactical prowess, show the ability to adapt in the late round? Because unlike the Akimbo side, Copenhagen Flames, there's a lot of demo and there's a lot of video to sort of look back on and see how they like to play their T sides. You don't fall victim to some of these tricky maneuvers that Hooksy maybe has planned. I do wonder what the sort of public opinion is on Hooksy and the in-game leading of Copenhagen Flames since the departure of Peter. You know, they've brought in a new coach as well, but we have yet to see them show that same level of glory, the same ascendance that they got to towards the end of last year.
I think the question is also, is there a little bit of an element of that, hey, Copenhagen Flames, I love the guys and everything. They're not as popular as, if they had come underneath the Complexity brand or something like that. Without that microscope, you do get a lot more leeway, if you're someone like Hooksy in that regard as well.
Very daunting getting picked up by a big org.
For sure. Something that very often you don't realize. Seconds on the clock, and this is where Copenhagen Flames are really letting it wind down. Not that much map control in their favor, but at the same time, you can say identical statements for Akimbo as well. They're playing very defensively and very B-side centric. Yeah,
they threw a deep smoke over at B, and it's kept a third player over there for Akimbo, so this is actually the vulnerable site.
And this is where they're looking to pop right through Keojin and Hanji, the only players to defend. But hey, they've got a solid crossfire going, but not much utility off the back of it, and not many players rotating in either. Roy trying to move in on the entry pathway. Will find the first. It's beautiful. That's exactly what he's known for, and Yabi behind him is good for another. They are dominating Akimbo's defense, and with the slightest amount of time left imaginable, they will be able to get a bomb plant. Not a single player lost in that process.
Yeah, man. The story of Roy and his sort of journey, especially at that major, was one of the crazier things that I think graced a lot of the people that had sort of kept track of the Copenhagen Flames story for some time. We looked at them rising through the ranks and then said, oh my god, Roy is an absolute beast. Like, it is accompanied with players like Yabi and Zyphon that can sort of move in alongside him, but to think that he's kind of kept up that level of form as well, it wasn't just like this flash in the pan, this one-off at that event. His numbers are pretty remarkable for a man his age.
It's also pretty insane when you consider, like, everyone in the Mad Lions squad was basically just money, except for Acor. The one that got away.
See, I'm still sympathetic to Acor to some degree.
I'm sympathetic, but
yeah.
Put it this way, I wouldn't be spending the big bucks to buy him out.
Maybe not.
Keos right now, Ooh, that's a quick little sound.
Uh-oh.
Coming through, and they've got a second one as well off the back, but
Yeah,
the AK now picked up. They're moving through. The AK recovered, and Keels has been given the time to take down the bomb. And with this, Kyojin's also gone. Copenhagen Flames are being snuffed right out. Not like this, Michael.
Okay, well, it has to be Roy to save the day somehow. I don't know what kind of cape you've got to put on him. I think preferably some kind of cloak of invisibility. Probably go the longest. Don't think anything else is installed with that much power, Doctor Strange or not. I mean, this is just crumbled so quickly. To think it all starts off with that Zeus kill, and as soon as he got his hands on that AK, you could sort of see things going Akimbo's way. They had a heavy stack over towards that B site, and as soon as they recognized they had a weapon to work off of, they just pounce. And Copenhagen Flames weren't quite ready for so many players to be showing their faces over towards Banana so quick.
Not to mention that Roy as well, rather not Roy, the second kill as well, actually. Came through in a one-on-one. Now Roy, 20 seconds left, brought down a crossfire that he can't do anything about. But the second kill also came from a pistol. So, the player who's there to just make sure that you can recover is also brought down by a USB. And then after that kills, I'm not sure if we're going to see the replay of him getting that kill or not. Looks like we are. He actually auto-switches to the AK. So it should have been Nikodos to bring him down. Instead, he ends up losing the bomb.
I wasn't sure if it was an auto switch, like it felt like it, but I can't imagine any pro player runs around with auto pickup on.
Well, maybe it's just a, new PC.
Yeah, hasn't got the config loaded, but it still worked.
Oh,
Risky peek there for Maka. That's something that Nikodos did a couple of times on his CT side as well, and then just like that, they pounce in through this mid position. Kyojin's all that's left over on this A site, and he's got to really show that flair.
That is gorgeous, and Kyojin doesn't quite get that nade off. Not that it matters, because he's just found out Nikodos. What a round from him.
Man, this has to be one of the things I really appreciate about Nikodos. Like, especially in some of the high pressure situations, I do think that sometimes on the AWP, the nerves get to him a little bit, but when you look at him on a rifle, like, he looks right at home in a lot of ways. So whether they're on low buys or not, whether he's got that AWP, like, he goes for some of these riskier fights, which a lot of AWPers actually are a little bit more timid. They're playing for more conservative routes, thinking about the save potentially. Nah, Nikodos has the brazen to move in for these high impact plays, but also give him a rifle, he knows his angles just as well. So really good that we get to see some of that in from the Flames. Certainly rocked the nerve here for Akimbo, as they were hoping to find some level of stability on that CT side after a miraculous win off of just pistols.
Now this is going to be really dangerous, especially because, the CT economy, it's got enough in it for one more, but you lose the next, and Copenhagen Flames basically end up on map point, on your own map pick. Akimbo cannot be happy about this, and look, I do think that Python style is going to translate through really nicely onto Vertigo, but I don't know what else we're going to see coming out from them. Obviously, a very tumultuous first half, to say the least. Most players starting up 0 in the 7, 3 of them, in fact, before getting any frags.
Yeah, and a lot of the issues here for Akimbo has actually been realizing some of the timings that Copenhagen Flames are going to take, whether it's on that the CT rotates back and forth, whether they could manipulate them throwing fakes, or whether it's been actually dealing with them on the offensive end. I think Vertigo is very similar in a lot of that sort of play style manipulation and timings that can be achieved.
Well, that's a bit of a miss Molotov, but he will be able to chuck it out later on regardless. I do still despise the fact that you will ruin one of my favorite maps in Inferno by comparing it to Vertigo. Haji, however, is ruining Roy's day, as he was trying to creep past Crambok in, and Haji's got himself a second as well. The awareness on this man is always fantastic, but now he's found himself in a place where he's going to be sandwiched in from either side. One of those pieces of bread, though, is coming faster than the other. Nikodos trying to make his way through, smoke off pit to make sure he's got a straight one-on-one, but Kyojin's going to be left for the late round as a result of it, and you've still got the double flank coming in. Kyojin's trying to spam right through as well. Nikodos slightly tagged, but not too bothered, but time is running down, and Hoopsy's found the first. Haji's missing his shots, and Yabi can compensate as a result of it, but now he's got to get 2 more. Bomb plant will be guaranteed at the very least. No one is speaking through on him in case it's a fake, and Yabi now 1-on-2. Can he find anything? Flashbang out, will not be punished for it. Kyo speaks out, and that's why you don't pull out utility. Although, always a bit of a question mark in your head.
Yeah, really hard retake to win just because of the fact that Kyojin's able to keep himself alive there. He's actually the most important player in this round, given the fact that he's able to just really get into the minds of what the Copenhagen Flames are trying to do on this approach to A. They'll not only have to worry about this one-way smoke that Haji's so annoyingly deployed on the bomb site, but he's buying time. And all the meanwhile, Kyojin is just trying to bring more and more attention to that pit spot because nobody was able to kind of address that on the Flames.
Bit of a tech coming out from Akimbo. Hopefully everything's fine on their end. The Flames, however, question is, what kind of buy are we going to see from them? Obviously, 4 of their players rather do have enough for a full, but I just want to see whether or not they give the AK to Roy, to be honest, because he has been having some really good entries so far on this side, but at the same time, maybe Tech9 can do the same. I don't know.
Yeah, Hooks is kind of sneaky. He's up to 18. And
yeah.
He's just kind of been finding these in mid-round moments, especially on some of these site scales and finding a couple of these trades. You know, he's been in charge as well of dealing with sort of lurking pressure over towards B. He got singular kill with the Glock as well. Kind of surprised to see him topping things off.
Interesting.
Surprises all around, considering Akimbo
Roy has the highest ADR.
He's just finishing off the job then.
Yeah. Now, I'm not 100% sure whether there's any issue with this because obviously server configs matter so much. Sometimes there's a problem when you're switching hubs over. That, you know, so I don't exactly know, but I'm looking at the ADR for Akimbo, you know.
I think it seems
it does look
reasonable.
pretty accurate, yeah. You know, Kyojin should have about 44 right now, I suppose.
Yeah, seems about right. I am liking that we are getting to see some of the CT protocols from Akimbo at the very least. I think T-side took a little bit longer to get going than I think anybody would have preferred, but it's understandable. You know, roster moves are happening, even if this is your map pick. Sometimes understanding what type of game your opponent is going to play, it might not have been a factor much in some of the early decision making, but we saw some good adaptations. You know, we get probably some of the experience from... I wonder how much input Kyojin has in the matter, but you imagine, you know, Maka and Haji take a lot of charge in that direction. Kios as well will have his input.
I also have got a confirmation that the ADR is indeed accurate, so that's pretty good stuff for us. Regardless, so I am still looking forward to seeing whether or not we do see some sort of major opping presence coming out from Python or Maka later on. Obviously, you know, like you mentioned before, Maka tried for that one late round peak coming down into mid and was punished pretty heavily for that. But I would not hate it to maybe go into a double op or something. I know I'm predominantly saying that, not for strategic reasons, just because you know, our producer Kai said that Python's a sick opper.
It's like, yeah, he could op.
Yeah, he said he's going to be the next Kenny S.
Oh well, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think those words were said.
And he said the 2014 Kenny S, not the washed up 2022 one. But that's just my producer talking. You know, I'm just saying, Kai, shout out to him on, I can't remember his Twitter off the top of my head, but you know what? I'm sure I'll find it.
Damn. You were gonna do the shout out, but I forgot.
I mean, I'm not gonna remember Kai's Twitter off the. Okay, it's Anati_KaiZ99. So if you want to go flame him for saying
now
that
you've called
Kenny
him
is,
out. That's crazy.
Well, it's a shout out. What do you mean a call out? It's his problem for calling out legends like Kenny S. Kai, how dare you?
Right. Okay. I mean, yeah, he can deal with that in his own time, I suppose. I'll be hearing from his assistant very soon. A very strongly worded email.
I am really hoping Kenny S gets another team eventually, though.
For sure.
Both him and Guardian. I just want to see them again, you know? Even if it's just like a victory lap, globe crawlers kind of thing.
Guardian is playing.
Didn't he end up dropping out of that team, though?
I think he was still playing with C's last time.
Okay.
But, yeah, maybe my information's outdated.
I might be wrong as well, yeah.
Yeah, we're ended up on little tangents. But the tech's dealt with. Seems like Akimbo have been able to address whatever sort of ISP, mouse, screen, TeamSpeak. There's a million different things it could have been. Issues have been sorted. See if they can sort the issues out on the server, though. They're still trailing 3 rounds and actually hoping that they can find, again, this stability that I think a lot of their lifeline was sort of brought forward by the fact that they had that very successful full save.
This double boost up takes so much time, and the fact that they might be able to pull this one off is just going to be catastrophic for the Flames if this works out.
As if this is the round where Copenhagen Flames decide to go for some sort of like contact-oriented play over towards B, and they might just do it into the stack, Yeah,
and no one's going to be rotating from Akimbo unless it is Kios, and he's not going to be looking to back off because this grenade pin is going to be pulled. Great timing on that smoke as well, but they're just pushing through. Flashbangs there, but Haji's already covered. Chaos lines them up, and all that's left is a very lonely Zyphon and Nikodos, one, or rather two, without even the ball on their back.
As if, I mean, that's just like a perfect bait setup as well for the high and the low ground play to allow Kios to get that double. And with that bomb firmly out of Copenhagen Flames' grasp, yeah, this call that was made coming out of the tech timeout has resulted in an Akimbo double-digit scoreline. I mean, that's a great decision to make as well, to change up your CT setup. Not only sort of leveraging yourself into the stacking play over at B, but also kind of not pulling the pin too early on deploying some of that counter utility either. They weren't setting up for Molotovs, they weren't setting up for smokes to sort of deter or disrupt what was happening over towards that banana area, unlike what we saw from Copenhagen Flames, where it was very much reactionary based on how much space was taken away from them on that CT side. Akimbo just really do bet pretty big here on the stack, and Copenhagen Flames fall right into it.
And Copenhagen Flames, they are falling in many ways right now. Their economy's also fallen down by the wayside really heavily. Going to be relying on Nikodos and Zyphon to be able to pull something out with those saved weapons. Something tells me it might be a little bit unlikely with how defensively Akimbo has been playing consistently. They've been prioritizing, giving a bracket control around that 110 mark even at times, even though that has somewhat fallen out of the meta. Just works for them.
Do wonder how the Flames are going to respond to this. They try to go for some banana pressure, and with Nikodos finding a whole lot of bullets instead of actually a kill that he could have gone for, he is very, very vulnerable, but a slow peek into the short play might not be the one. Maka's already scoped on the roll.
Oh, he's got it. Makes it look easy as well. Nikodos, that all can be recovered at the very least, but how much can be done with it is still a sore point of contention. You only have a single flashbang. There's still a lot of util, and Maka is just going to be peeking out wide after clearing off the upper on the other side. Maka, though, actually just maintaining the boiler angle, and he'll dodge out the flash, still stay around, and Copenhagen Flames are about to have him peek into them because Maka's thinking of getting aggressive. Yabby's on the other side, but Maka should have a freebie if Roy's thinking of getting involved, and there you have it. Down to a 5-on-3, and Maka is yet to move. You just don't have the flashes to push him off. And sure, you've got the trades, but can you follow up? Tech9 trying to proceed forward. Hooksu's picked up an AWP, and Yabby's got a second in the meanwhile. Haji, long range, finds a quick one and drops down as well. With the double up, you're going to be relying on the Tech9 to close the distance. You've got one, you've got two. It's straight back into things. It's a 2-on-2.
Do they read into this double play in towards middle, and they're just jumping over it? Jabby adjusts on the AWP, but they now know where Python is. Hooksy in the bomb site. AWP himself has to switch out to the pistol. It's too close range. Python back and forth between the boxes, but Python takes the high ground, and Hooksy cannot convert. It's a great retake in from, again, this Python man that has surprised so many to be topping the scoreboard for Akimbo, but coming up big in clutches too.
He has been fantastic so far, but you've got to say this was very much a ball being dropped right there. The second Maka loses out on that shot, you need to have some sort of backup coming in there, and that backup just simply couldn't be provided from pit. Yabbies was watching out for it, knew that that's where the peak would be coming through, and despite getting a quick kill, there were still 2 players left in mini pit and main pit, Michael. That is insane. The kind of defensive stat coming out from Akimbo, even then, it has to be Python. Oh!
Rapid play. Kios never stood a chance. The flash combo is his teammates. Flash, but Haji's pushing in from behind, so suddenly they just think they had an opportunity moving forward, but instead they have to worry about behind and all sorts of different fights simultaneously. Before we know it, it's Roy against the world, and he's still come up with a couple of kills. Still yet to get his hands on a weapon and the bomb, though.
I mean, there is a weapon recoverable very nearby to him. I'm not sure why he doesn't have it yet. There's 2 CT crosses on the map. They aren't too far off, so am I a little bit surprised? Yeah, absolutely.
Just worried about a CT rotate on towards this B bomb site, but I think they realize what they have over towards Banana.
Oh, he's got an M4A4 as well picked up. Now, Roy, you still got some good old-fashioned spray downs in you? That's a big question. Grenade's going to be chunking him down in a second to bring him down to 1 HP. As if it couldn't get any harder as it was, Kyojin is just going to bring his own wall bang out. Take him down. 12-12, the equalizer against all odds does come through.
That's one of those tendencies there from Copenhagen Flames, which is actually one of their strong suits in a lot of moments. It's actually something I'm sure we'll talk about in the second map as well, but after getting that opening kill, they don't just immediately accelerate. They're anticipating a lot of these rotates to come in. There might have even been somebody quickly sort of in towards Speedway, dropping nades to help provide a bit more support on that B-side play. So it's not always the easiest affair to simply rush into the bomb site, but because they hesitated to reassess, that's where Akimbo struck the hardest.
That nade.
Getting a little taste of their own medicine. A lot of that CT utility damage that Copenhagen Flames found.
All the potassium, baby. Seals, meanwhile, just forced to peek out. There's a Molotov behind him, but he's still good for one. That's all they needed, especially when the CTs have used another incendiary. Copenhagen Flames are not going to be disliking that trade at all.
It's another one of these spots where it's all about what type of control and information you can throw to your opponent, whether that's to throw them off of their game, maybe move them into a stacking play. Moving into a bracket stake here for Copenhagen Flames actually could work against them. Mark is taking a very deep off angle with this AWP. And actually they're moving to actually create this crossfire, so they want to contest this.
Oh, Maka, he's going to be good for one. Can he go for more, though? That's a big question. No utility to be coming in, and Roy's just cornered him out completely. There's good damage in the meanwhile, though, and that means the CTs are going to have an easier time dueling. Zyphon getting ready for a flash, just needs to line it up. Just can't quite find it. And Kyojin, well, he's found all he needs. 2 quick kills, and Zyphon trades, but no bomb on his back in 20 seconds. That's going to be a tough recovery, one that I have a feeling might not come through, although he's got the quick kill. Needs to go get the bomb plant soon. Python's already speeding his way down short, and with 10 seconds, Python might be able to deny, although, that being said, he's gone over to apartments instead. Zyphon's got a one-way to work off of once he gets on top of that box as well, if he would like to do so, but Python, I mean, he could just try spamming it out as well. The second he drops, his position is going to be revealed. That smoke dissipation being closer range should favor Zyphon. But who's going to be the one to get it? Python, if he looks away, that's going to be it. Zyphon found, but Python doesn't complete the spray. Zyphon had a chance, but he can't make anything of it.
Another 1v1 for Python to come up big. You could see the paranoia setting in there for Zyphon. He's looking all sorts of directions. He could be in the arches. He could be going in for that flank. And Python just plays it safe. Knew that smoke was deployed before that bomb went down, so had more than enough time to wait that one out. And even though it misses out on his first opportunity, it sort of crumbles from there. I was actually getting ready to sort of blame Zyphon for how this round plays out on the side of Copenhagen Flames, because you could see they were going for that moto wrap towards the site, and Zyphon had a flash primed to allow that kind of a peek to come through. But he's so worried about somebody playing close moto that may peek him from within the bomb site that he doesn't have that flash ready in time, and his teammates suffer for it, but still comes down so close between the two squads. But straight into the follow-up, we've actually gotten a lot of aggression over towards Banana. They wanted a deep peek on the side of Akimbo, and they've lost a player for it, but only for a little while. Moccasin finding a pick right above that smoke does equalize the affair and cause Copenhagen Flames to reset.
One of the few times we've seen aggression coming out from Akimbo going in that deep to Banana, and it pays off perfectly. They've rotated 4 players, Michael. On one side, Copenhagen Flames were the ones saying, we're never going to gamble. Right now, Akimbo are the ones being kicked out of the casino. Anji, though, well, that gamble didn't pay off.
Is that a bait? I mean, he's trying to phase the smoke in middle, and maybe that could have accelerated the plan over towards the A site for the Flames, but they're moving B instead, and they have not bitten down what could have been potentially a dangling piece of meat.
There's a gap left. In that smoke. Oh, iPhone. there. He's been able to keep an eye out for Python and his shenanigans. Re-smoke comes out, and indeed, Maka's not feeling too happy about this spam. They still have to be careful about the player in construction. That's Kyojin, but doesn't look like they want to be revealing their cards. Let's put them down and fold.
And because of these clutches, Akimbo can't exactly sit pretty on money, so keeping these weapons into a follow-up round is going to be a much more important affair.
Yeah. I'm surprised we're not seeing a little bit more hunting from Copenhagen Flames, to be honest, despite their money also being low.
Yeah, I mean, they might be able to subject one rifle to it. Like, Zyphon's got enough cash to reinvest himself, and he is also a player that's tagged. If you can get away with a sneaky kill, I think he'll happily take it. So you can see he's the furthest along the hunting. Not exactly on their trail, he's going a completely different route, but... yeah, he's making all these bird calls, and nobody's chirping back.
Oh! That's the only bird
I don't think you're much of a bird watcher, or...
yeah. Maybe
I
like...
might have...
I don't know, man. Like...
You're the one that decided to put yourself out there to make a bird noise.
I believe in volunteering, Michael, okay? That's what I believe in. Even if it means volunteering to make myself look like an idiot.
Still equal Stevens across the board. Oh.
Oh. Well,
Just a quick glimpse into the past.
Yeah, it's a quick flashback. It's a reminder. Or is it a quick little prophecy of what could come up later on? You know, Michael?
Maybe a haunting memory.
Ooh. A lover left behind on the
About to go to sleep at night, you're thinking about why you said, yeah, you too, to the server that just gave you food.
Have you ever actually done that?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been on both sides of it.
Oh.
I've worked at a server and been on the receiving end of that and been like...
Did you ever give anyone a smirk after that? They're like, haha, gotcha.
No, because I know the deep anxiety they feel themselves.
Well, right now there's going to be a bit of anxiety on the Flame side because they need to find this lead and soon. And Zyphon is going to be doing a nice little job of at least starting the affair. Good bit of early damage at the very least.
Man, really struggling to get that same level of impact that Nikodos was getting on that CT side AWP. He was re-peeking middle very frequently, going for some odd timings. Maka trying to be a little bit different as well, but this boost over towards B is certainly different. Akimbo doubling up towards Dark, but there's no support that can come anytime soon, so they actually go for a reboost to see if they can catch him out.
Python. Oh, he's just been able to boost himself up above. That should be a freebie, and indeed it is. Python's just waiting for anyone else to come his way, but the problem's going to be Yabi. He's circled all the way around, and he should be able to find a quick one. Molotov's going to clear out one angle at the very least, but it is the wrong angle. Python repositions. This could be massive. He's doing it all on his own. Python just gets another one. Zyphon all alone, a 1-on-4. Man, Python is cracked and jacked.
Yeah, man, I'm loving the decision-making that we're seeing from this guy. They've been very dynamic in how they set this one up. Went for a double play in Dark, and now they're doubled up in different positions. Python does now hit the deck, but his job is done. Those 3 kills. Now they go for a double swing, and Kiels will just happily take Python's AK and finish off the job. Again, another one of these calls on this B bomb site where it's all about changing up the way that they've been playing it in the setup. They go for an unorthodox boost at the back of the site, which is very, very risky. If they lose this first player, if there's a Molotov that sails in outside of that angle, could have been devastating. But again, when they're put into this awkward situation with low money, they make the best of a bad situation. It puts Copenhagen Flames on the back foot. How many times are they going to fall victim to these dynamic B setups here from Akimbo?
Oh, he's just found Uxie. Michael, every time is the answer to your prior question, apparently. Every time that matters, at least.
Haven't seen many of these, like, hallmark Kios plays too many times this game, but that is a hallmark Kios play.
And honestly, he's had such a big comeback as well compared to where we saw him earlier. I think he was, 0-7 or 1-6, something on those lines as well. And now he's 20-17. That's a nuts comeback. Yeah. You know, we've been highlighting Python all throughout for good reason, but Kios has really been able to recover very effectively.
Who comes out on top? The Flames or one slippery serpent boy?
Oh, Haji. He just gets himself a quick double as well. Like, I know they're slippery. Problem is sometimes they slip and they trip. And they fall and they die. It's a drastic trip.
I don't think... I'm not sure that snakes can slip. Is that even what you would call it? Doesn't even really matter.
Good question.
Yeah, I mean, they've got so much body and so much maneuverability. I don't think that's even possible. They're all muscle as well. So even if they're ready to fall, they're ready to pick themselves back up. But that's exactly what Akimbo have done. We entered this half 10-5 in favor of Copenhagen Flames. They had a great CT half. Started 8-0 up. Then we started to see that resurgence pull through. Now on their own CT side, these dynamic B plays, the clutches in from Python have given them enough room to actually potentially seal in their map pick in the series where it looked like Copenhagen Flames held all the cards.
And now he's opened up, not just a closer. This man is. Roy's even been tagged down to 17. Copenhagen Flames, this is the worst possible way to start off the round, and something tells me it might about to be getting even worse, Michael. Even worse.
Might about to be getting. It do be indeed.
Indeed. Me no English, Michael. But... question is, what does Copenhagen Flames know? Do they know a way to get back onto either side with this much utility in the Akimbo pockets?
It's just such a tough call. Zyphin's still trying to pull off some kind of a lurking presence over towards the apartments. And nobody's really peeking for it. Akimbo have been going for late info in some of these mid peaks, but Japan's now probing, and a nade out here for Kios, that will prompt a Molotov, so more of that utility that you were saying was on their belts being deployed and keeping Copenhagen Flames at bay.
How do you find the kill? That's a very strange time to be throwing the smoke right after you see the Molotov blooming in your feet. That is odd for sure. It'll be quite a few rotations also coming over to the B-bomb side. Akimbo so far with the amount of control they have over brackets. They are 100% confident in just rotating over, and that flashbang is picture perfect. Python, pull out a camera because it's your time to shine. Gets himself 4 to seal out this map. He has been fantastic. Michael, absolutely spotless on Python's side.
Yeah, a hell of a game from what is a debut, not only for him, but Kyojin as well. You think all the spotlight's on Kyojin to sort of bring himself back up a tier or not?